Joe's teammates Brian Basoco and Rudy Briksza. Basoco, in the middle table, we have a Human's Mirror. Humans, remember, overwhelmingly the most popular deck in Modern. 10 out of 28 teams playing it.
Get used to that mirror.
And for Briksza, blue-white control versus mono-red. But here we start Cruse, Gitaxian Probe. We'll see the layout. It is Cavern of Souls, Caracas, Wasteland as 3 lands. That's pretty strong. The curve, Mother of Runes into Thalia. Sword of Fire, Ice, and Swords to Plowshares. This is just a very good 7.
Yeah, these cards are all very powerful. You ask Will to have an answer to the Mother of Runes, and then probably going to need an answer to the Thalia. One thing that is notable about this hand, it's not always true for Death and Taxes, but sometimes you can wasteland the deck out of the game, and these are all non-basic lands. Feels pretty bad when your Mother of Runes deck gets wastelanded out.
Turn 1. Delver of Secrets here for Cruse. Looks like he was on a 6-card hand as well. He has 2 Force of Wills, 2 blue cards in hand. Not exactly the matchup where you want that. Maybe 1.
Well, Cavern on Human means you want 0.
Yeah, Cavern naming Human. Here's Mother of Runes. Blanking. So it really hurts when you're on a mull to 6 on the play when your opponent blanks 2 of the cards in your hand.
Yep.
You just don't have cards anymore. You're down to 4.
Force of Will on Sword of Fire and Ice is certainly worth the cost.
Okay, yeah, that'll be a great hit, and I guess he can pitch the 2nd Force to it.
Looks like a miss on the Delver flip, though. Young Pyromancer was the draw.
Yeah, miss on the Delver flip, miss on the land, which means this Brainstorm in his hand, he may have to use it in, not an ideal fashion. He'll swing in for 1 with the Delver to hit Jonathan down to 19.
Yeah, you already know about the Thalia. It's tough because you don't know if you'll be able to reset the top of your deck with the Brainstorm, but even hitting a Wasteland to just deal with that Cavern of Souls would be excellent.
Well, if you get Brainstorm locked here, that's going to be lights out. He hit a land, but it's not a fetch land.
It is Underground Sea, though, so he'll have access to all of his colors, but his spells aren't good enough is kind of the problem. It is worth noting, though, that if you're not hitting what you need in 3 turns, you're probably losing the game anyway. So the Brainstorm makes sense here. This is a creature matchup. The clock is pretty fast. Everything's on the battlefield. It's not like you're locking yourself in a matchup where you otherwise had time.
Yeah, I mean, it stops him from doing things like top decking relevant cards. You know, what he has is what he has. We'll see if it's good enough. Here's second Delver of Secrets. And presumably he's put a spell on top to transform both of them.
The rest of his cards are spells, right?
Yeah. Back over to Job.
And 2 Insectile Aberrations, that might do it.
Yeah, Job's hand hasn't helped. Picked up a 2nd Thalia.
Yeah, he has 1 Swords, but now you have 2 threats. And Will still has Force of Will to deal with Sword of Fire and Ice, which is the best card that Job has access to.
Might be just fine here. I guess on Job's side, you have to decide if you even want to cast Thalia, if you have that Sword of Fire and Ice.
Making it cost more is not great, and honestly, you probably want to cast Swords to Plowshares on this turn.
Yeah, because you just know both these Delvers are going to transform.
Right.
So he'll do that straight away. Fetches for planes. Yeah, without the equipment, he's not actually going to win the race. The equipment's going to get countered. You're absolutely right. He's going to Swords away one of the 2 Delvers. Just slow Will down a little bit.
Yep, has mana up to pay for any potential days. And while Will's tapped out, it can't be Spell Pierced, and there's not a lot of good targets for that one, so playing around it with a spell you want to resolve, very good. Also, casting these swords while the Delvers are still 1/1s instead of 3/2s means that Will gains less life.
Force pitching Force. Will's going to do that on the Swords to Plowshares. It means that sort of Fire and Ice might resolve, but this flip is, I mean, Jonathan just went to 18. The double transform means it's a 3-turn clock.
If Will has a daze in the leftovers, that Force is pretty good, because it's really hard to get a Sword of the Fire Ice out. And he's just going to show the daze.
Yes, he does have a daze.
You kind of wanted to hide that one, but he may not have had options. I know at least one of the other cards is Young Pyromancer.
Right.
If you're casting Pyromancer this turn, then leaving up Daze is excellent.
Attacks John down to 12. And Deathrite Shaman, the other card, says go.
Kind of an interesting way to line it up.
Well, you think about the cards he had to put back. He had Pyromancer, Shaman, Daze, Force. So if he's going to pitch Force to Force, that was his only instinct.
Right, but I mean Shaman versus Young Pyromancer.
Oh, okay.
Currently, Pyromancer's on top of the deck. It would have been better to play that, especially if you're planning on dazing the Sword of Fire and Ice. Deathrite Shaman's not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know if any of this matters.
It doesn't really change the clock, right? It's 3 turns either way, but point taken.
Yeah.
Especially as Jonathan could wasteland you off the red mana here or something like that. I guess that means he's not making Sword of Fire and Ice.
He did know about the wasteland, so that is something. Having Deathrite Shaman, so you all, no matter what, have access to your colors is pretty meaningful.
Jonathan is under a ton of pressure, though.
Yeah, he's to these Flyers, he's dead in 2. He currently has Mother of Runes.
And he knows about the days he's going to cast. Recruiter the Guard. Okay, that's a human. Can't be dazed. Can't be countered.
Yep.
What human can he get here, though? I guess.
Well, he doesn't search for humans. He searches for creatures with 2 or less toughness. I would expect a Flicker Wisp.
Okay. He has 1 Pia and Kiran Nalar in his deck. He'll get Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be able to have the red mana for Pia and Kiran.
Yeah, that would have been my question. It's the kind of thing where he could, if he had another red mana, he could start trying to Karakas it and recast it a bunch, and that would be a lot of blockers.
Right. Yeah, we currently know that Wasteland is a 4th land available, and that would be there to pay for days casting Flicker Wisp. So you bounce out one of the aberrations, reset it as a Delver, and you're able to block the other one on the following turn.
You untransform it.
Though Deathrite Shaman, it gets in some damage, so that Flicker Wisp is much shy of actually closing the game.
That's my concern, is that Jonathan's going to go to 6, and then Deathrite Shaman will go to work. Now, it still might be fine if he can connect to that Sword of Fire and Ice. Maybe he can remove the Deathrite Shaman. There's still play here, but a lot of things have to go Jonathan's way. Swing for 6 puts Jonathan down to 6. Remember, Flicker Wisp not even a human here, so the daze is live in Cruse's hand.
Live-ish. You know, we know about the 4th land.
Yeah, I guess the Wasteland. Young Pyromancer should be the draw from Cruse. Can't make that and use Deathrite Shaman, so this is actually a pretty big decision for him.
Yeah, Shaman activation actually just looks better here. You're so close to closing the game. Also, the way that Job punches through involves Sword of Fire and Ice anyway, so making some elemental tokens, what's that really worth?
Because you know next turn that Job has to cast Flicker Wisp. Yep. So you get 2 more damage, and then you're going to give Job 1 more untap. And on that next turn, Job will have to deal with a Deathrite, or he'll lose. That seems fine.
So currently, both aberrations, they'd be lethal if they were able to hit. We know Flicker Wisp is coming down, but you still leave the 1 behind, and then you might transform the Delver. You don't know the top card just yet.
Cruse just says go.
But if you get the Shaman activation and you transform the Delver, that is lethal.
There is Swords to Plowshares in Job's hand, so he could stabilize at 2 here as it stands.
Swords helps. Because of the days, he won't be able to Flicker Wisp and Swords and have both of them resolve on this turn.
Yeah, not this turn. So you'd have to Flicker Wisp this turn, go to 4, next turn, Swords, go to 2. But he appears to be stable at that point, unless, of course, the Insectile Aberration just transforms back.
Right.
Which is something it could definitely do.
Well, the deck wouldn't exist if Delver never transformed without you setting it. Yeah, you got to believe in the deck.
Here's Flicker Wisp from Job. And he just about has to pick an Aberration.
Yeah, if you're casting Flicker Wisp, that's really the only thing you can do.
Well, no, he can get his own land and then get that Swords.
Sure,
right?
that is an option available.
If he flickers out his own land, it comes back. He immediately swords the Deathrite with Daze mana up.
Okay.
Then he's
that
at
actually makes
4.
sense. That actually sounds better.
Okay. Yeah, because then he doesn't. Because if he does the other line where he flickers out an Insectile Aberration,
And if it
then
transforms, you're just dead.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. That is the line.
Of course, Grixis Delver plays cards like Lightning Bolt. You know, we're not done yet.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was going to flip the Lightning Bolt, then you got nothing going on.
See which route he chooses. There could be advantages to both.
Once we enter blocking territory for Job, though, the Flicker Wisp gets to stick around because the Mother of Runes will give it protection from blue.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about removal anymore. The removal spell is named Lightning Bolt, and it's not going at your creatures.
Can't save yourself with Mother of Runes. That would be a heck of a card.
Deciding that Flicker Wisp trigger. This is a big one for John Job. First result in, Rudy Briksza with blue-white control takes game 1 over on the standard table. That's a name we have not had him in a top 8 in quite some time. But right now is knocking on the door here on table number 2.
An amusing line that Will has access to is activating the Deathrite Shaman and dazing to protect the Underground Sea from the Wasteland. So it looks like that's what we were held on.
Okay. Dazes, floats black mana, dazes to protect the sea from Wasteland, and then drains 2. John is at 4. Now we'll see what Flicker Wisp's targeting. John paid.
Not paying would not be great.
Yeah, that would be losing. Remember that cavern is set to human, so Flicker Wisp. He actually had to pay. Can target his own planes, and then swords away Deathrite Shaman. Can target an Insectile Aberration and untransform it. Yeah, planes swords feels like it's just what he has to do, and because that. Yeah, you know, he can cast it on his own end step when the planes comes back. He doesn't have to worry about an untapped activation.
Yep, yeah, you can do it end step, upkeep, whenever you want. Timing,
right.
Exactly the same functionally. Yeah, the Deathrite Shaman would be untapped, but there's not like a 2-mana spell you're concerned about.
All right, we can swing in for 1 with our Recruiter of the Guard. Why not?
Can't leave that one on the table.
Plains is back, still in his own end step. Now we'll see that Swords to Plowshares. And you're on, it's just got to hit Deathrite Shaman, right? No, he'll go for Insectile Aberration.
Well.
Okay.
There's enough stuff in the graveyard, but the...
I'm surprised here. Now, on the other hand, Will can't deal 4 with that sea because it's going to get Wastelanded before it's tapped twice.
Yeah, it can only deal 2. Yes, you kind of have that covered.
But I mean, at that point, what? Fetch lands are killing you.
Sure. But once one of the aberrations hits, then you're just dead to Lightning Bolt.
Well, I'd rather be dead to Lightning Bolt than to black mana source, but it isn't. It's close. I don't know. Will's going to go to 17. He'll cast Cataxian Probe. Sees Thalia, Sword of Fire Ice. Draws. Not a good look at it yet.
I think there's another Delver.
Sure. Don't mind that. Underground Sea. Yeah, casts another Delver. This is a lot for John to fade. He needs to fade a black mana source and the top card. If it's a black mana source or an instant or a sorcery, he'll lose.
It's a lot of...
That's a lot of... I mean, it's...
A lot of things.
That's more... Yeah, okay, so he needs a land or creature.
Well, now we know why Will's playing 3 Underground Sea instead of the stock 2.
Right.
He's played this game before.
Draw here from Job. He's at 4. If he can connect with that Sword of Fire and Ice. Yeah, he's going to Wasteland away the sea. In response, Cruse going to use Deathrite Shaman. Exile Swords to Plowshares. Puts Job down to 2. Job's on the ropes. Now his teammates are helping him out. Brian Basoco winning the game 1 in Modern as well. But he's got to fade a bunch of things here. Sword of Fire and Ice is the play, and then just a lot of hoping. Says go. All right. This is Black Mana Source or Instant or Sorcery. It's none of the above. We're still playing.
Gurmag Angler's all right.
Oh, no. Well, is there? Yeah, I think there are. Are there enough cards in the graveyard with that Deathrite Shaman to cast it even?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deathrite Shaman making mana off of Job's graveyard. 6. Volcanic Island 7. That's it.
He can cast it, but...
So on Job's turn, if he wants to connect with Sword of Fire and Ice in the face of Gurmag Angler, would have to put it on the Flicker Wisp.
Okay, don't want to do that.
Which means you're still dead to Instant or Sorcery next turn.
So here's Young Pyromancer will be the play from Cruse. He'll say go.
That's not bad. It does not force an equip on the Flicker Wisp. Actually...
Yeah, it's a red and a blue creature. The sword just goes through them all.
Yeah, so you can put the sword on the Recruiter now for Job.
Yeah, and then kill an Insectile Aberration. Or kill the Deathrite. I don't like this play too particularly.
Is it the case that if you cast the Angler, you have to exile all the instants and sorceries from all graveyards?
Okay.
That is a consideration.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But this Recruiter with the sword is troublesome.
Yeah, I mean, it means that it's a creature protection from red and blue, 2 pretty good colors right now. He has that 3/3. It'll attack. He'll draw a card and deal 2 to a target. Ryan, what are you shooting down?
Well, 3 targets that are all kind of must kills, right?
Yeah, which is the mustest kill. Down to 14 goes William.
The Aberration is the most immediately impactful.
The most kill?
I suppose the Deathrite Shaman has like the most funky stuff that could maybe matter that is hard to think of at the time.
If it just like draws a land, you're still dead. You're dead to most of the lands in his deck, or cantrip into land. Oh, he's dead to so much still. He needs to fade another draw step.
Yeah, so you kind of have to draw into another Swords of Plowshares, which is pretty unlikely off of this sword hit.
He'll kill the Insectile Aberration. I guess there's more instants and sorceries than lands, so this is correct.
Yeah.
And then he draws off the sword. Does not. He wanted a Swords to Plowshares as the extra card there. That would have sealed it up, but can't have that. He needs to draw another. Needs to fade one more. Here's Thalia.
Been waiting on that one for a minute.
Yeah, but none of this matters. The cards that kill him are. He says go. He needs to dodge black mana.
He wants
a land will kill him. A land will kill him. Is it one?
Like exactly, Young Pyromancer is the worst draw on the deck.
Well, right now it's just black.
More Angler.
Right. If it's not a black mana source, Joe's probably got this.
Well, just like I'm trying to think of the cards that are actually bad to draw, and it's actually a pretty narrow list. It's Volcanic Island, Tropical Island, Second Gurmag Angler, True Nemesis, Young Pyromancer, Deathrite Shaman, Delver's Secrets.
Well, at this point, any of the cantrips are fine, too, because he got rid of the Insectile Aberration.
Okay, right.
So Flicker Wisp is back. So it was just black mana source.
Okay.
And drew a land, but it was wasteland. It was close, but I think that was his last opportunity as well, because now that Sword of Fire and Ice is going to connect again.
Yeah, the sword's kind of taken over from here.
And I do like the Thalia follow-up. It meant that if Will had drawn a Ponder, he was not able to ponder into the black mana source, so it closed off that line. Just casting Pyromancer says, go. Job should clean this one up. And this has been close.
This has been a wild game. Pretty impressive stuff for Jonathan Job.
Yeah, I do like how he's played this quite a bit.
In particular, the access to the turn 2 Thalia didn't come down until turn 10 because it was disadvantageous for him to cast Thalia. That's not something you see a lot of Death and Taxes players navigate correctly. It's just a tough line.
He's got that sort of Fire Ice. And there is a Deathrite Shaman. The only creature that can block is Deathrite Shaman. And really what he wants, why he wants to attack, is that he wants this creature to remove the Deathrite Shaman. So I guess whichever way that happens is fine. Gives protection. Okay, protection from black. Now you just can't block it at all. Swings in. There are 4 attackers here. Deathrite Shaman gone. We've got 3 attackers. John Job draws another card. It's another Flicker Wisp. That's looking like it'll do it.
Yeah, that one's not bad. additional blocker.
I want to flicker back that recruiter.
Still need to fade Lightning Bolt.
Okay. Is there a way? Yeah, I don't think he can't wasteland down one of those 2 lands, or there's no trick where he can keep him off the correct mana.
Yeah, if he had a Vial, he could do something fancy with Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, there's nothing like he can't like Flicker Wisp his own Flicker Wisp, have it come back, remove the land. No, there's no loop like that that's gonna work, is there? Then he just die on his own upkeep.
Yeah, it just comes back.
Sometimes you see them do neat plays like that.
If the math works out so that, Will's dead in 1, but no, because it comes back too soon.
Yeah, it doesn't stay gone long enough. John could make it so he dies on Will's end step instead of Will's draw step, but
yeah, really wasting the volcanic island is what he wanted to have access to, but did not draw that off to the sword.
Will had two big outs on the last 2 turns. Now he has a very small one. He's just looking for Lightning Bolt.
Or Forked Bolt. Not
It
so
is
much
Spell
Spell
Pierce.
Pierce. That one is not a card.
No, I mean there's an Aether Vial in John's hand, but he'll pay.
Uh-huh.
And now John, if he can close in 1 turn, he'd like to.
So he found Stoneforge Mystic, but he's shy on finding Umezawa's Jite and equipping it.
So wait, yeah. First match result in, Brian Basoco 2-0 wins in Modern over Todd Anderson. Team of Job, Basoco, and Briksza, they want that top 8 spot. This win should do it for him, too. Equip of Sword of Fire and Ice. Can John win in 1 turn here? That would be ideal. Can he deny the Lightning Bolt out? If he can't, if not, protection to 2 creatures. He's going to swing in with everything. It looks like he believes that he has lethal or can force Will to trade away the entire board. We know the recruiter's swinging in for 3, could make it 5.
Well, no, he gave both of the flyers protection from blue. Recruiter can't be blocked by any of these creatures.
That's
That's
11
9.
unblockable.
Fire and Ice is 11. This is lethal.
Yeah, you can't block the flyers. Can't block the recruiter.
Yeah, if
Send the extra 2 damage upstairs. Yeah, that's just 11.
Yeah, if the mother targeted the 2 Flicker Wisp, I don't. Or did Job targeted the Thalia?
He gave Thalia pro red, pro blue. Yeah, so that is an onboard lethal missed.
Yeah, he knows about Spell Pierce is the only card in Will's hand, right?
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, if Cruse top decks the Lightning Bolt, then that's going to punish him.
I mean, he opened up that out.
He swung out. There is still a blocker. He can. I think he messed this one up. He can still make a blocker, and he's not. Well, actually, wait. There's 2 attackers. He can kill one of them with the sword.
One down.
And he does have another Thalia in hand to make an emergency blocker, so it's a misstep on his side, but it looks like he can scramble into something that still works.
Right. It would feel real bad to get lightning bolted from here.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hate to see it. It would be a pretty expensive lesson.
Maybe not. I mean, he's still very much drawing to his teammates winning the match.
Yeah, I mean, Rudy winning one more game.
Right.
Yeah, but he has to shoot a Pyromancer. Deciding which one. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, one of them's Eternal Masters, and...
Stop it. Stop. All right, that one. I'd have been to the other one. When he's tapped on headset, just been the
as
other.
soon as he starts
and
picking it up, wait.
He'd pick tapped on, I'd been the other one, he'd be like, that's not the one I picked. I do that. If I have a non-foil and a foil, and you Doomblade my foil, I'll just bin the non-foil.
You're familiar with the 3D altars of Magic cards, where there's
Yeah,
a
those are
stack
great.
and they cut them out. I was watching a player play Delver one time, and they had a 3D altar. They played on their first Delver, and then they cast a second Delver, and it was just like the card. I was like, what's going on, man?
Oh, so like some of them were checklists and some weren't?
Well, no, they were all checklists, but he only had one 3D copy to put out on the checklist the first time.
Well, they usually kill the first one.
It's just like he cast a second Delver. I was like, that looks really unimpressive next to the other one.
All right, so go through there, and ooh, that was a great play by Will, and John had to have that port because, so what Will did is he blocked, and in combat, he wastelanded Job and said, you know, show me another land in your hand, otherwise I got you.
Yeah.
I really like that play from Will. Job had it covered, but that port was the card he drew this turn,
right.
Okay? So Will really made a good play there. Draws for turn, it's not going to do it. He doesn't hit the lightning bolt, and Job takes the game win.
Yeah, Job navigated the early game
So
really well.
Yeah.
It would have been really unfortunate to throw it away there.
I want to give him credit. It's a great game played by Job. Yeah, he missed an onboard lethal that last turn, and he gave Will an extra turn, and maybe he would have gotten punished, but that is still an excellent gameplay on his side.
Yes, definitely.
So 4 games to 0 for now for Job, Basoco, and Briksza. Can they get one more? It doesn't matter where. We'll find out when we come back. We are back here with round 14, but round 14 is not back here for us. I was trying to do. Don't worry about it.
You tried, man.
Look, words. I was going for something.
There's